So students, we have already discussed what is actually the cause behind the friction, but let us discuss it in more detail. Okay, so the causes of friction is firstly the attachment of the molecules. Okay, here are the irregularities between the surface, between any kind of two surfaces that are in contact. There might be any kind of irregularities if we zoom up that thing. Okay, if we are going to zoom up the very small area of the surface of anything that is in contact with the other thing, okay, you will find that there are irregularities. Okay, that might be a smooth surface, but it's still, if you are going to zoom it, you will be clarify that the irregularity part is present there due to the different molecules and atoms that are actually in spherical shape. So here students, one more thing that going to be performed, the cause of the friction is the adhesive force between the surfaces. So one is the irregularities between the surface and other one is the adhesive force between the surfaces, because the molecules of one surface and the molecules of other surface get attract with each other, and that attraction force is actually a frictional force. Let me explain it with you example. What is adhesive force here? Let us take two surfaces that are in contact with each other and they get bond and begin to stick to each other. You can even perform this experiment by your own. Okay, so here let's suppose a book that is in table. We have already discussed about it. Okay, so if we zoom up the surface of the book and the table, we will find that there must be irregularities, because the molecules and atoms are not like flat surfaces, they are spherical in shape. So the spherical in shape of the surface, let's suppose this is the molecules of book here, okay, and these are the molecules of or atoms of table here. Fine, so this makes this thing irregular, and here this is also irregular. So the irregularity gap between these two surfaces get fixed to each other like this. Okay, जो खाली जगह है वो भर जाएगी दूसरे surface की वजह से. Fine, like this. So that thing make this thing a very strong bond here, and this could only be moved if the external force is provided there. They are not going to move by itself. That is why the book that is here on the table is not going to move unless and until some external force is provided here. Okay, so the reason behind it, the irregularities is because of the atoms, and that they are having a adhesive force in between, because there is certain gaps in between them that could be fixed by the other surfaces. If we take the microscopic and zoom it in, okay, so let us see the box that is put on the surface is having such kind of irregularities. There are lots of, because this box is made up of wood. Okay, if it is made up of a glass, then it might have less number of irregularities, but it have irregularities, though it is less. Okay, so here the more irregularities will gives you more friction. Okay, because of more irregularities, more number of surfaces going to fix in between. Okay, that leads us to more adhesive force and ultimately more friction will be there. So if in case of smooth surfaces like a glass or a water, okay, they are in contact, so there would be have less irregularities, but irregularities would be there, so it could not be said as the frictionless surface. Okay, it would be a frictional surface, but the amount or the quantity of the friction here would be less compared to this, because of the less irregularities, so less bond will be created here. So here students, one more example that you can perform by yourself with the help of brick. Okay, so here we are dragging actually the brick and the spring balance. You know what is spring balance? Yes, it is used to measure weight. You know that? Fine. So here there is a hook in the spring balance with which we can attach any object if we want to take the weight of it. Okay, so here if we attach a brick here and we will drag the spring balance, okay, like this. If we are holding it like this on like suppose you can take this brick in the hand of your friend and pull the spring balance with some effect. Okay, like it is in standing position also you can take. Okay, like here in vertical position. So now if we are going to put that brick again here on the table and now again pulling it in the form of this spring balance with the help of this thing. Okay, you can take any object, you can take book also, you can take brick also, put it on the surface. Okay, like the brick is in, right now it is in vertical position, so the surface area that is in contact with the surface is less. Okay, now if it is in horizontal, like book is placed in the given diagram, so the surface area will be more in contact, so the more irregularities will be defined here. Okay, and if there are more irregularities, so we can say more bonds have been formed here, and that ultimately gives you more friction. You know that irregularities in the contact with the surface of the other irregularities provide you the form of friction, frictional force. Okay, so in both example you can see we are dragging the spring balance and we are getting the measurements. So in first case you will see, because there is a less number of irregularities that are in contact with the other surface, so we can say the weight measurement that has been shown with the help of spring balance would be less. Okay, and the measurement that has been shown here in case of the table and the book, because more irregularities are here, so the more weight will be shown here according to that. So we can easily simplify that our weight is also depend on the surface or the surrounding, like where we are actually present, how much we are surrounded by the things. Okay, even the surface that are in contact with the body gives the idea of the like that much of force is needed to drag this thing. Okay, if this book is in like air, so let surface the air is in contact with the book now right now, so it will be easy to move like here. Okay, but if it is on the table, so the surface that is in contact is of solid part and more bonds will be formed because of more irregularities in contact. So we can say that more friction would be there.